วันนั้นเราไปราชบุรีเราเปิดโทรศัพท์อีกอันหนึ่งนะวันนี้เดี๋ยวเราจะเปิดโทรศัพท์ตัวนี้
One of my biggest life changes was switching careers, going from working full-time as a baker at a bakery to become...
There will come a day when your name is spoken in a room you're not in. A meeting, a conversation, a decision behind closed doors. And in that moment, your reputation, your character, your essence will either echo like thunder or vanish like smoke. That day is not marked on a calendar. It does not announce its arrival. It simply comes silently. And when it does, the life you've lived becomes the voice that speaks for you. The way you showed up, the promises you kept, the work you did when no one was watching. That becomes your voice. See, there's a kind of wealth deeper than money, a kind of influence greater than fame, a kind of power that doesn't come from speaking louder, but from living truer. It's the kind of power that moves rooms in your absence, shifts hearts without saying a word. Because your life, your real life, is either your witness or your warning. Live a life that speaks when you're not in the room. And that starts long before success ever knocks. It begins in the silence, in the discipline of early mornings, in the sweat of unseen efforts, in the resolve to do it right, even when no one's looking. You see, most people are busy decorating the outside, chasing applause, collecting likes, feeding the algorithm of attention. But those who live a life that echoes, they work on the inside. They build soul equity. They trade popularity for principle, convenience for conviction. And in doing so, they become undeniable. Because serial influence is not a product of charisma. It's the result of character. It's not what you say in the spotlight. It's what you do in the shadows. So ask yourself, what story does your life tell when your mouth is closed? When your resume is unread? When your title is stripped? When all that's left is your example, your standard, your truth. Do you move people closer to excellence? Or give them excuses to stay the same? Do your actions challenge mediocrity or endorse it? Does your presence demand integrity or dilute it? Because whether you like it or not, you're always teaching, you're always leading, you're always leaving a trail. And that trail, it either leads to greatness or regret, to inspiration or indifference. That's the kind of success no bank statement can measure. No award can quantify. It's invisible, but undeniable. Subtle, but seismic. And to build that kind of life, you need more than ambition. You need alignment. You need habits forged in the fire of clarity and purpose. So let's talk about mindset, because before your life ever speaks, your mind whispers. It tells you what's possible. It tells you what you're worth. It tells you whether you're a victim of the world or the author of your future. And most people, they've let other people write their script. They've outsourced their beliefs. They've downloaded limitations dressed up as logic. But not you. Not anymore. It's time to take back the pen. Time to edit the old story and write a new one. One where the struggle made you sharper, not smaller. Where the setback became the setup. Where the doubt became fuel. Because mindset isn't about being positive, it's about being powerful. It's the decision to meet resistance with resilience, to face fear with forward motion, to stop reacting to life and start creating it. And when you choose that kind of mindset, your life starts to move differently. You stop needing motivation and start becoming it. You stop begging for permission and start owning your presence. You stop chasing validation and start building value. And then belief steps in. Because mindset creates the conditions, but belief is the catalyst. Belief is the fire that says, I am worthy. I am capable. I am enough, not because the world said so, but because I decided so. You've got to believe in the value of your voice before the world hears it. You've got to believe in the weight of your work before it gets rewarded. You've got to believe in your potential, even when the evidence isn't obvious. That's the hard part of having faith before fruit. But that's what leaders do. That's what legacy is made of. And belief, it's not just a feeling, it's a muscle. You build it through repetition, through action, through showing up on the days when the doubt is louder than the dream. And the more you act in alignment with belief, the more you start to see it. Not just in yourself, but in others. And suddenly your presence starts to lift people. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because you've become proof that it's possible. But belief without clarity is a wildfire without direction. So you've got to get clear. What are you here to do? Who are you here to serve? What problem are you here to solve? Because purpose is not found, it's built. Brick by brick, decision by decision, truth by truth. Clarity cuts through noise. Clarity quiets the chaos. Clarity says no when distractions scream yes. And once you're clear, vision emerges. Vision is not a daydream. It's not a Pinterest board of vague ambitions. Vision is a contract with your future. It's a covenant with your calling. It's the ability to see with the eyes of your soul, even when your circumstances are cloudy. The world will always offer you comfort in exchange for your calling. But vision doesn't negotiate. Vision doesn't compromise. Vision demands discipline. And discipline, that's the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. Discipline is the decision to honor your future over your feelings, to choose progress over pleasure, to do what needs to be done again and again and again until excellence becomes your default. And here's the truth. Discipline isn't punishment. It's liberation. It frees you from chaos, from regret.
With this AI tool, you can create a complete storybook from just one keyword. Not just
regret. From mediocrity dressed in convenience. Because every time you do what you said you would do, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. You build a reputation with yourself. And when that reputation is rooted in integrity, in grit, in consistency, your life starts to speak without you saying a word. It says, I am reliable. I am relentless. I am rooted. And that's when action becomes your identity. Not just what you do, but who you are. You stop needing external reminders. You become the reminder. You become the example. You become the evidence that yes, it's possible. And the world, it listens. Not because you demand it, but because you've earned it. Earned through effort. Earned through late nights and early mornings. Earned through setbacks turned into comebacks. And when you start to live like that, when your life becomes a reflection of values, not just vibes, when your name becomes synonymous with excellence, then even your silence speaks. Live a life that speaks when you're not in the room. Because one day, the rooms will be many. The doors will open. The tables will turn. And your life, your standard, your story will walk in before you do. And when it walks in, let it carry the scent of dignity. Let it shake the walls with truth. Let it whisper to the timid, rise higher. Let it remind the arrogant, there's always another level. Let it silence the doubters without uttering a single word. That's what greatness does. It doesn't shout. It echoes. It lives in the memory of how you made people feel, how you handled pressure, how you honored your word when it was hard. That's the legacy you're crafting moment by moment, habit by habit. And yes, habits are the builders of destiny. Forget luck. Forget hype. It's the small, deliberate acts, repeated daily, that make your life unstoppable. Gratitude. That's one of the most misunderstood habits of power. See, gratitude is not just saying thank you when things go right. Gratitude is the warrior's perspective. It's looking into the eye of chaos and saying, "Thank you for the fire. I needed it to forge my edge." It's waking up tired, facing adversity, and still declaring, "I'm grateful because I'm still in the game." When you train your mind to find the seed of strength in every storm, you become bulletproof. Not because the storm won't come, but because you've already claimed the meaning it will serve. That's emotional alchemy, turning pain into progress,
วันนี้จะมีความสุข
setback
มากเลย
into setup,
ขอบคุณ
loss
ที่อยู่
into
ด้วยกันกับ
leverage.
เชียร์
And if gratitude is your root, adaptability is your wings, because the path will never unfold how you imagine. Plans will
ข
break,
อบคุณที่
people will leave,
ทำ
the
อาหาร
script
ให้เชียร์กิน
will change.
ดูแลเชียร์เสมอ
But
เวลาเชียร์
adaptability,
ให้
that's the habit of
เวลา
evolution.
ที่เชียร์ทำผิดพลาด
It's staying committed to your mission,
รักเชียร์ทุกวัน
but flexible in your method. It's learning to dance with
ด้วย
disruption
การ
instead of resisting it, to flow like water strong,
ขอบคุณมากๆ
but
เลยที่
formless,
การ
to
เกิด
pivot
มา
without losing purpose,
เป็นแฟนเชีย
the
ร์
rigid break, the flexible rise.
เชียร์รัก
And in that
เชียร์ชอบเชียร์
rising,
มาก
you'll find the heartbeat of resilience, that sacred space where your soul refuses to quit, where every bruise becomes a badge, where every no sharpens your yes. Resilience is the art of falling forward, of turning wounds into wisdom, of showing up one more time, then life knocks you down. People admire strength, but they follow resilience. They follow those who bled with grace, who failed with courage, who've walked through fire and came out golden, not bitter. Because resilience isn't just enduring, it's enduring with your spirit intact. And as you walk this path-building mindset, belief, clarity, discipline, gratitude, adaptability, resilience, you'll come to the most humbling habit of all, learning, the hunger to grow, to remain a student, even when you become a teacher, to ask better questions, even when you're giving great answers, to never let achievement blind you to improvement. Because the moment you think you've arrived is the moment you stop arriving. Success is not a destination. It's a commitment to sharpen your tools, refine your vision, and evolve your thinking. Growth is not something you graduate from, it's something you breathe. And when learning becomes a lifestyle, wisdom becomes your
ขอบคุณนะครับ
companion.
ตานที่อยู่ด้วยกัน
And
มาทุก
wisdom,
วันนี้ก็เหมือนกัน
That's the currency of
แล้ว
kings.
ก็ในอนาคต
It's the lens that sees beyond appearances. It's the compass that points to
อยู่
truth
ต่อไปนะจ๊ะ
in a world seduced by trends. And once you have wisdom real,
แต่ว่าเชียร์
earned
ไม่เห็นว่า
wisdom,
ใคร
you
คอมเมน
lead
ต์เพราะว่า
different.
เชียร์เปิด YouTube
you live different.
แต่
You
เอา
stop
YouTube
chasing
สำคัญ
attention and start
กว่า
creating impact. You
Well,
stop
oh,
shouting to be
yeah,
seen and start working to be
ให้คอมเมนต์
felt.
ไม่ได้อยู่อะ
And when your life is felt, when people can sense your standard just by how you move, that's when your
โอ้
life
หยุดให้ไง
speaks.
อันนี้หยุดอันนี้หยุด
Not just in rooms you're absent from,
เข้าใจ
but in generations that follow you. Because true influence transcends time. It lives in the culture you shaped, the example you set, the quiet strength you carried when it counted most. So now, I ask you, what are you building? What are you becoming? What kind of echo will your life leave behind? Don't aim for applause. Aim for alignment. Don't live for attention. Live for intention. Don't build a life that needs to explain, it's build a life that explains others. Let your work speak. Let your service speak. Let your discipline speak. Let your character thunder in rooms you've never stepped into. Live a life that speaks when you're not in the room. Because one day, it'll be the only thing that does. And when that day comes, when your name is brought up in the boardroom, the courtroom, the
ยิ่ง
locker
เรา
room,
ภาษา
or
ไท
the
ย
living room,
ความกตัญญู
you won't have to wonder
เมื่อ
what's
เรา
being
กตัญ
said.
ญู
You'll already
ต่อ
know.
สิ่งที่เรามีแล้ว เราจะได้สิ่งนั้นมากขึ้นอีกสมมติเชียร์กตัญญูต่อเธอขอบคุณเธอสำนึก หรือว่าอีกอย่างให้เข้าใจก็คือการสำนึกรู้คุณ เราสำนึกรู้คุณรถคันนี้สำนึกรู้คุณ เอาง่ายๆคือขอบคุณรถที่เรามี ขอบคุณแฟนสาวที่เรามีอยู่ขอบคุณสุขภาพในวันนี้ ขอบคุณเงินในกระเป๋าเราอาหารที่เรากิน ความมั่งคั่งในวันนี้ เราจะยิ่งได้ขึ้นอีกมีขึ้นอีก เพราะเราสำนึกรู้คุณจักรวาลเห็นว่าเราชอบสิ่งนี้ มันจักรวาลจะส่งสิ่งนี้ให้เรามากขึ้นแต่ถ้าเราบ่นรถ
อันนี้เชียร์เปิดแอร์ตรงไหน
อ๋อไม่ใช่นี่เมื่อกี้มันไอ้นี่มันก็เลยนี่ก็ร้อนอ่ะเมื่อกี้มันมีควันเหม็น ถ้าเราบ่นรถคันนี้ด่าคันนี้สมมติเราบ่นเธอด่าเธอตีเธอแต่รถคันนี้ก็ไม่อยากให้เชียร์ขับเธอก็ไม่อยากอยู่กับเชียร์เพื่อบ่นด่าเงินในกระเป๋าบ่นด่าเงินเศรษฐกิจอย่างเงี้ยพูดไม่ดีกับคนอื่นเอาง่ายสมมติถ้าเราความสัมพันธ์ไม่ดีกับคนอื่นใครจะอยากอยู่กับเรานะมันก็เหมือนเงินเหมือนทุกสิ่งทุกอย่างยิ่งเราบ่นกล่าวโทษนู่นนี่นั่นสภาพแวดล้อมโทษอย่างงี้บ่นกล่าวอ้างโทษมันก็ไม่มีอะไรอยากจะอยู่กับเราสิ่งนั้นไม่ได้ทำให้เราลดน้อยลงแต่ว่าถ้าเราขอบคุณทุกสิ่งทุกอย่างขอบคุณท้องฟ้าขอบคุณอิสรภาพทางการเงินดีๆในวันนี้มันยิ่งดึงดูดขอบคุณแฟนสาวที่น่ารักของเราขอบคุณรถคันนี้ที่เก่งมากขับไปไหนๆทุกที่ขอบคุณนัดรถแดงธุรกิจเหรียญมันยิ่งเสริมพลังให้เราทำให้เราเก่งขึ้นเราจะยิ่งดึงดูดทำให้เราดึงดูดสิ่งที่ทำให้เราประสบความสำเร็จมากยิ่งขึ้นยิ่งเราประสบความสำเร็จเราช่วยเหลือคนอื่นมากขึ้นเราก็ยิ่งประสบความสำเร็จขึ้นอีกเราประสบความสำเร็จเรารวยมากเราก็ช่วยเหลือคนอื่นได้มากถ้าเรารวยเราก็สามารถเอาเงินไปบริจาคให้คนอื่นได้มากขึ้นอีกคนที่มีน้อยแบบมีเงินน้อยอย่างเงี้ยคนจนใช่ไหมไม่ใช่ว่าเขาเป็นคนไม่ดีเขาก็เป็นคนดีแต่ว่าการเขาก็ช่วยเหลือได้แค่ขอบเขตของเขาใช่ไหมแบบเพื่อนบ้านเพื่อนฝูงหรืออาจจะรอยยิ้มอาจจะบริจาคบ้างเล็กน้อยอันนี้คือส่วนที่เขามีแต่ว่าถ้าเราเป็นคนรวยแล้วเราเป็นคนใจดีด้วยเราก็ยิ่งช่วยเหลือคนได้มากกว่าค่ะบริจาคได้เยอะกว่าช่วยการกุศลสร้างสิ่งดีๆให้กับสังคมได้มากกว่าประมาณนี้เงินเป็นแค่เครื่องขยายเสียงของเราไม่ได้จะวัดว่ามีเงินมากแสดงว่าคุณโกงคุณไม่ดีหรือว่ามีเงินน้อยแสดงว่าคุณจะเป็นคนไม่ดีนะหรือว่าต้องมีเงินน้อยถึงจะเรียกว่าคนดีเป็นคนรวยแสดงว่าคุณเป็นคนไม่ดีอะไรอย่างงี้ไม่ใช่เป็นแค่เครื่องขยายเสียงคนที่มีเงินเย
เรา
อะ
จะได้นอนตอนไหนอ่ะบอกแล้วมันบอก
เธอจะนอนยังไงนอนแล้วก็
ให้เล่าซะยาว
โอเคครับ
นี่ก็บอก
Because you've lived in such a way that your integrity left a fragrance,
แม่ก็เปิด
your discipline left a blueprint, your courage left a trail of possibility for others to
อัน
follow.
นี้เราไม่รู้เรื่อง
There is a difference between a person who shows up to impress and a person who shows up to
อย่างนี้เรา
impact.
ไม่รู้เลย
One fades the moment they leave. The other remains long after they're gone. This world doesn't need more noise.
จะนอนแล้วนะ
It doesn't need more performances. It needs people of weight, people of grit, people of honor, people who choose substance over image and excellence over ease. Because image is what people see, but substance is what people feel. And only one of them travels through closed doors. There's a kind of magnetism that can't be faked. It's born from the accumulation of 1,000 small decisions done right. Waking up when it's easier to sleep in. Choosing kindness when anger would be justified. Following through when quitting would be excused. Refusing to betray your standards for the sake of approval. These things, they seem invisible, insignificant, but they are the bricks of legacy. And when stacked day after day, they create a fortress no storm can shake. You see, life is always watching. And even when no one applauds you, life is keeping score. The results will reveal the roots. The harvest will expose the habits. That's why shortcuts are a lie. They look fast, but cost everything. They promise gain, but deliver emptiness. You can't microwave greatness. You have to cook it slow in the oven of patience, persistence, and pain. Because pain is not your enemy, it's your trainer. It strengthens what comfort softens. It sharpens what routine dulls. And the ones who rise are not those who avoid pain, they are those who assign it purpose. They say, this too will serve me. They say, this will not break, might will build me. They say this suffering will not be wasted. Because when you live with that kind of intention, everything becomes fuel. Every loss becomes data. Every failure becomes feedback. Every betrayal becomes a mirror revealing what needs to be healed, what must be upgraded, what can no longer be tolerated. This is how you build a voice that speaks without sound. This is how you build presence without performance. This is how you become the kind of person that others whisper about. Not in gossip, but in reverence. They'll say, she never needed to boast. Her results did the talking. They'll say, he walked in with humility but left with the room changed. They'll say, that's someone I want to become like. But don't live for their words. Live for your soul. Live for the alignment that lets you sleep at night. Live for the mission that wakes you up with fire in your chest. Because when you do, you no longer need to chase success. Success comes looking for you, not because you demanded it, but because you became worthy of it. So, stay the course. Keep building. Keep rising. Keep sharpening. Let others cut corners while you build foundations. Let others chase trends while you establish truth. Let others play for attention while you move in intention. Because there will be a momenta room, a stage, a table where your name will surface, and you won't be there to campaign for yourself. Your life will do the speaking, and the room will listen. Live a life that speaks when you're not in the room. Because when you live that way, you'll never need to worry about who's watching. Your life will do what your words never could. And what a life that is. A life so intentional, it leaves fingerprints on every room it enters. A life so grounded in principle that even the winds of chaos can't uproot it. A life so consistent in its excellence, so unwavering in its pursuit of what is right, that even time begins to respect it. The clock ticks for everyone. But legacy bends time. It stretches far beyond the present. It leaks into futures you will never see. It becomes the seed of someone else's awakening. That's the reward of living well. Not trophies, not titles, not temporary praise, but transformation. A life that transforms others simply by existing. So many are chasing visibility, but you chase invincibility, not in the body, but in the reputation. Not through armor, but through alignment. Because when your actions align with your deepest truth, you become untouchable. You become the one others count on. You become the one others reference. You become the one others remember not for what you had, but for who you were. This is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about being fully alive in your values, fully committed to your vision, fully surrendered to the responsibility that comes with greatness. Because greatness is not found in grand gestures. It's found in quiet consistency, in how you do the small things when no one's around, in how you speak about people who can't do anything for you, in how you treat the moments the world deems ordinary. You see, when your integrity is so intact that no one questions your intentions, when your discipline is so steady that no one doubts your delivery, when your name becomes a standard, not a suggestion, that's when you know you've built something that speaks without speaking. You become the lighthouse. You don't chase ships. You simply shine. And those who need what you carry will find their way by your light. But don't be fooled. This path is not easy. You will be misunderstood. You will be mocked. You will be questioned. But remember this, the deeper your roots, the stronger your silence. Let others talk. Let others post. Let others perform. You plant. You build. You become. And while they're chasing noise, you're becoming a signal of excellence, a signal of resilience, a signal of purpose. Because here's the truth, the world won't tell you. You don't need 1 million followers to be powerful. You need one life lived with such clarity, such courage, such conviction, that it alters every life it touches. The world is changed not by crowds, but by examples. So become the example. Be the one who arrives early, stays late, does the right thing when the wrong thing is easier, takes responsibility when others pass blame, moves with honor when others move with ego. Be the one whose word is contract. Be the one who doesn't flinch in adversity. Be the one who chooses principle over popularity. That's the kind of person whose name opens doors, whose story is told with admiration, whose legacy travels further than their voice ever could. Because when you build your life on truth, when you lead with soul and execute with strategy, when your motives are clean and your mission is clear, you don't have to shout. You don't have to chase. You don't have to beg. You become the magnet. You become the gravity. You become the one who moves Pioplanat with persuasion, but with presence. So show up every day, not to impress, but to become the kind of human whose name carries weight, not because of status, but because of substance. And when you live like that, you become undeniable, unshakable, unforgettable. Live a life that speaks when you're not in the room, because the day will come when your voice is absent, but your choices will speak loud. Your habits will leave clues. Your presence will still be felt. And those who knew you, even briefly, will say, he lived full. She walked with purpose. They didn't just pass through life. They left it better. Let your life thunder without noise. Let your legacy echo in rooms your feet never entered. Because when all is said and done, when the noise dies down and the spotlight fades, only one question remains. Did you matter? Not in the trending sense. Not in the viral, temporary 15 seconds of fame sense. But in the soul-deep, life-altering, legacy-leaving sense. Did your life matter? Did your actions move people closer to courage? Did your values remain steady when everything else shook? Did your journey give others permission to rise? Did you stand for something or fall for everything? We live in a time where attention is currency. But you must decide, will you spend your life chasing attention or building respect? Because attention is rented. Respect is owned. Attention is given when you entertain. Respect is earned when you endure. The real currency of life is not fame. It's impact. It's the unseen ripple effect of your consistency. The silent testimony of your character. The integrity no one witnessed, but everyone felt. And that kind of impact only comes from one place: alignment. When your thoughts, your words, and your actions are all telling the same story. When what you believe is reflected in what you build. When what you preach is matched by what you practice. Live so deeply in alignment that your energy walks into the room before you do. That your absence speaks even louder than your presence ever could. That people say, I don't know what it is, but when they were around, I felt more possible. That's the power of a life lived right. It leaves people better, not impressed, but transformed. And it starts with the decision to stop performing, to stop pretending, to stop waiting for permission, and to start building quietly, consistently, without the need for validation. Let others waste their time proving. You spend yours improving. Let others beg to be seen. You become the kind of person no one can ignore. Because true power is quiet. It's not showy. It's not loud. It's the confidence that doesn't need to convince. It's the clarity that doesn't compete. Live with so much purpose that it's painful to settle. With so much vision that distraction feels like betrayal. With so much integrity that anything less feels foreign. And understand this: the world does not give lasting power to the most talented. It gives it to the most consistent, the most disciplined, the most obsessed with mastery. Because the room you want to enter, the opportunity you want to receive, the legacy you want to leave, they are all locked behind a door labeled, prove it through your habits. So make your habits holy. Make your standards sacred. Make your word unbreakable. Because one day, they'll become the only thing left to speak for you. And on that day, when your name is mentioned, there won't be a debate. There won't be confusion. There won't be uncertainty. Only clarity. Yes, I know that name. They were the real deal. Yes, I felt something shift when they walked into a room. Yes, they showed me what was possible. And that is everything. Because the ultimate aim is not applause. It's impact. The goal is not to be remembered, but to be felt. To live so deliberately, so ferociously aligned with truth, that your life becomes a mirror, reflecting what others forgot they could be. So rise today, not for recognition, but for responsibility. The responsibility to carry your name well, to hold your calling high, to protect your gift from compromise. And remember, every action is a vote for your legacy. Every word is a seed in the soil of memory. Every moment is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Paint something eternal. Build something sacred. Live something worthy. And when you're gone, let the silence roar. Let your absence speak louder than your presence ever did. Let your life thunder across time, across generations, across hearts. A quiet, unstoppable declaration that you showed up. You stood tall. You lived true. Live a life that speaks when you're not in the room. Because yes, there's still more to be said. There's still more ground to claim. Still more fire to feed. Still more in you than you've dared to believe. Don't you see? This isn't just about reputation. This isn't about image or legacy or influence alone. This is about honoring the breath in your lungs. About honoring the one life you've been given. About refusing to sleepwalk through your destiny. Because the truth is, you are being watched. Not by critics, not by crowds, but by the quiet ones. The ones who look up to you but never say it. The ones who model your moves. The ones who are learning how to fight because they watched you refuse to fold. They are your shadow audience. And they matter. So every time you show up with excellence, you're telling them, this is how it's done. Every time you stand in integrity, you're declaring, this is what it looks like. Every time you keep going, when it would be easier to stop, you're saying, this is who we are. You are building more than a life. You are building a standard. And that standard will echo long after you're gone. It will echo in the habits of your children. It will echo in the decisions of your team. It will echo in the posture of people who never met you, but felt your wake. And no, it won't always be fair. You'll be held to a higher bar. You'll be asked to carry more. You'll be misunderstood by those who only understand convenience. But that is the price of leadership. That is the toll of greatness. That is the burden of the chosen. And if you're reading this, if something deep in your spirit is still nodding, still burning, still whispering, keep going, then you are the chosen. Not chosen by accident. Not chosen by bloodline, but chosen by decision. You chose to rise. You chose to become. You chose to live as if your life meant something. And it does. It does. But don't expect applause for it. Don't expect a parade. Don't expect the world to understand the price you pay in silence. Because those who walk the path of real impact, they rarely get standing ovations. But they get something better. They get peace. They get alignment. They get the quiet satisfaction of knowing they gave it all. They get to leave this world empty because they poured it all out. And when they're gone, their life speaks. It speaks in the companies they built, in the families they healed, in the movements they sparked, in the souls they touched often without ever meeting them. That is the highest form of success. To live in such a way that your story outlives your breath. To become not just an example, but a foundation. Not just a voice, but a vision. Not just a memory, but a message. So rise. Rise with urgency. Rise with fire. Rise like your name depends on it, because it does. Not the name people call you. The name your life will write across history. You have something sacred inside you. Protect it. Sharpen it. Honor it. and live so fiercely, so authentically, so immovably that when the rooms whisper your name, your life stands tall and answers. I was here. I built. I bled. I gave it all. And I made it count. Live a life that speaks when you're not in the room. Because what you're building isn't just a reputation. It's a presence. A presence that lives on in the decisions others make when you're not there to guide them. A presence that endures in the way they carry themselves.
To the people over 40 who don't know how to use AI, tomorrow morning we're starting the 28-day AI challenge for beginners over 40. Just 15 minutes a day to level up.
Because they once stood near your fire. You want to change the world? Then light yourself on fire with truth and let the heat radiate. Let your passion set standards, not trends. Let your convictions speak louder than your marketing. Let your footsteps do the talking. In this world of filters and shortcuts, stand tall in the raw, unfiltered grind. Because what's rare becomes valuable. And authenticity? Authenticity is becoming a priceless gem. But be warned, when you choose to live this way, you will lose people. You'll lose those who only knew the older version of you. You'll lose those who were attracted to your potential but allergic to your power. You'll lose the ones who benefited from your smallness because your rising exposed their complacency. That's the cost of growth. That's the price of truth. But what you gain cannot be measured. You gain the power of walking into any room and not shrinking. You gain the authority that comes from self-mastery. You gain the legacy that whispers through generations. And no trend, no critic, no failure can take that from you. Because the people who matter won't remember what you wore. They'll remember what you stood for. They won't remember how loud you were. They'll remember how steady you were. They won't remember the titles you had. They'll remember the weight of your presence. So speak less. Live more. Let your values be louder than your voice. Let your discipline be louder than your declarations. Because the most powerful lives are not those that command attention, they command respect. And that respect is built moment by moment behind the scenes when no one's clapping, no one's watching, no one's offering validation. That's where legends are born. In the invisible, in the uncomfortable, in the unseen hours where most people give up, but you press on. That's where your life finds its voice. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Not in the applause, but in the assignment. Not in the approval, but in the alignment. Because you were not born to be liked. You were born to be legendary. And legends are not remembered for being popular. They're remembered for being principled. They're remembered because when the world was drifting, they held the line. They stood their ground. They lived in such a way that history could not ignore them. And you, yes, you have that same fire within, but it's not enough to feel it. You must feed it with action, with intention, with courage, with character, every single day, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when you wonder if it matters. Because it does. It matters to the person you'll become. It matters to the lives you'll change. It matters to the story you'll leave behind. So ask yourself again, when the room mentions your name, what will be said? When opportunity knocks, will your preparation answer? When the doors open and your feet have yet to enter, will your life already be speaking? Build that life. Live that story. Be that person. The kind that shifts the energy when they arrive. The kind that is missed when they leave. The kind whose presence lingers long after their voice goes quiet. Live a life that speaks when you're not in the room. Because the world doesn't need another echo. It needs a voice. A real one. One forged in fire. One that rose not from convenience, but from conviction. And you, right now, you are standing at the edge of that decision. To remain as you've been, or to step into what you were born to become. Understand this. Everything great begins in obscurity. Every mountain was once a shadow. Every giant was once unseen. And every life that speaks powerfully, silently, eternally was once a life that whispered, I will not quit. You don't need to be known by the world to make an impact. You need to be known by yourself. You need to trust your own reflection. You need to stand in the mirror, eye to eye with your potential, and declare, this life will count. Because one day, your children will ask who you were. Your name will be passed from mouth to mouth. And they won't ask how much you made. They'll ask how much you gave. They won't ask what you drove. They'll ask what drove you. They won't ask who clapped for you. They'll ask who you lifted. Let your life answer those questions. Let your days be evidence. Let your struggle become scripture, something sacred, something people turn to in times of doubt. Let your legacy not just be remembered, let it be lived through others. That kind of life, it doesn't begin with a spotlight. It begins in silence, in choices no one celebrates, in promises no one hears, in the lonely grind that becomes holy when you decide it's not optional. And those choices, they stack, they build, they become character, they become confidence, they become the steel in your spine when the storm comes and everyone else bends. Because storms will come, betrayals will happen, critics will bark. But if your life has been built on truth, if you've laid brick upon brick in discipline and honor, then no storm will move you. Let others seek shelter. You become the shelter. You become the place others run to. You become the strength they need, the clarity they crave, the example they thought didn't exist. And how do you do that? You stop outsourcing your power. You stop waiting for someone else to validate your greatness. You stop negotiating your standards with mediocrity. And you decide right now that from this day forward, everything changes. You rise early. You stay late. You keep your word. You build in silence. You move in purpose. You speak with action. And slowly, then suddenly, people will take notice. Not because you asked them to, but because your life demanded it. They'll say, there's something about the way they carry themselves. There's something about how they move, how they serve, how they show up. There's something about them that just feels true. That something is everything. That something is the difference between forgotten and forever, between passing through the world and leaving a mark on it. So no more shrinking, no more settling, no more waiting. Now is the time. Now is the fire. Now is the moment you stop hoping for change and start becoming the change. And when the rooms begin to whisper your name, when the doors you didn't even knock on start to open, it won't be luck. It won't be magic. It won't be chance. It will be alignment. It will be integrity. It will be the compounded echo of every quiet moment you chose excellence when no one was watching. That is the sound of a life well lived. That is the thunder of a soul on fire. That is the roar of legacy moving through time. Live that life. Live a life that speaks when you're not in the room. Because if you still have breath, you still have work. You still have mountains to climb. Not to impress anyone, but to show yourself how high your soul was always meant to soar. You were not born for the sidelines. You were not made to watch others write history while you silence your gifts in the name of modesty or fear. You are here to leave a mark, not a maybe. To live as proof, not potential. Every day, you wake up with the divine opportunity to either rise or retreat, to either echo eternity with your choices or vanish into convenience. But you already know this. The easy life costs more in the end. It charges you your self-respect. It robs you of your fire. It drains your voice until you no longer recognize the sound of your own truth. So take the harder path, not because it's painful, but because it's real, because it purifies you, because it strips away the shallow and leaves only the sacred. You don't become the kind of person who moves rooms. by playing small. You don't develop the gravity of greatness by keeping your light dim. You don't earn the right to be remembered by blending in with the forgettable. You earn it in the moments of decisive discomfort. When you say yes to growth and no to safety. When you choose courage over compromise. When you refuse to lower your standards to meet the room, and instead raise the room to meet your standard. Live like your life is the answer to someone else's prayer. Because it is. Somewhere out there is a version of you 5 years ago, begging for evidence that rising is possible. Be that evidence. Be the reason someone else doesn't quit. Be the quiet force that walks into chaos and breathes calm into it. Be the standard by which others begin to measure what's possible. And here's the paradox. The more you focus on building that kind of life, the less you'll need recognition. Because you'll be too full, too focused, too grounded to crave the applause of the unqualified. You'll stop chasing rooms, and rooms will start chasing you. Because when your life speaks loud enough, opportunity stops asking for introductions. Doors swing open because your work preceded you. Because your name no longer needs a resume. It is the resume. But that only happens if you choose daily to be loyal to the highest version of yourself. Loyal in the dark. Loyal in the dull. Loyal in the waiting. Because the real test isn't how you perform when you're seen. It's how you behave when no one's clapping. When no one's cheering. When no one's watching. That's where identity is forged. That's where power is born. That's where you become unstoppable. You see, the world doesn't just need more vision. It needs more vessels. People willing to carry something sacred. People who don't just talk legacy, they live it. So let every move you make whisper, I was here on purpose. Let every task, no matter how small, declare, I was built for excellence. Let every challenge you face testify, this soul will not bend. And long after your voice has quieted, long after your hands have finished their work, may your life continue the conversation. Let your name be a weight that grounds.
I think back to all the better days when I used to be young and free. I remember her like it was yesterday. She was so beautiful to me. In my mind sometimes I'll run away to this time back in history. She reminds me of the summertime way back in 2003. Hey, she was a cutie in a sundress. I told her I just had to confess, I got a crush on you, darling. Them long tan legs got me falling. And I know we just met, yeah, yeah. But I heard that love at first sight ain't a myth. Oh no, yeah. I wanna take you out on a dance floor, girl. I wanna hear you screaming out for some more, girl. I wanna do something that they call crazy. Call you my baby, my pretty lady. I wanna be with you until we're fucking 80. I wanna watch the sunset with you daily. Keep my baby safe as we live, always chasing. Hearts racing when I'm with you, I'm just saying. Back to all the better days when I used to be young and free. I remember her like it was yesterday. She was so beautiful to me. In my mind sometimes I'll run away to this time back in history. She reminds me of the summertime way back in 2003. Hey, I've been chilling on the coast with my homegirl. The palm trees and the tide moving slow, girls. Back to my place, hey, you can call it home, girl. Pina coladas on tap, we alone, girl. I want a piece of you, you want a piece of me. Ray-Bans on, gotta block out the heat. I love your smile too, I've never felt so free. Bring it on, girl, work that body here to me. And I know that summer only lasts 3 months, yeah, yeah. We got the whole world traveling yesterday. She was so beautiful to me. In my mind, sometimes I run away. Truly stop back in history. She reminds me of the summertime, way back in 2003. Let's go. I can see my future and it's looking bright. Not used to the light, I was born at night, but I'm used to a fight, not a new sight. Left, right, everybody roll the dice. No regrets when I finally leave. I'll finally be the final, be a better me. My destiny is to invest in me, a quest to be the best. Yeah, let you free from a world that's been feeling so wounded. I got dreams and they feel so lucid. I got dreams that they think are stupid. It's alright, sit back as I do this. I don't take this life for granted. My mind's expanding. It's time for a fight. Command of the war. I want more. Yeah, I said I want more. Took a life full of hooks. Time to even the score. Life left so round. Gotta make it count. 2 bloody hands. Work hard just to build it now. 3 more doubts in my head. Try to tear me down. What I want. Let it show. Things carry me along. Through the struggle now. 5 toes tangled. every single damn heading off to my dream. And I get everything that I damn well please. I don't give a damn if you all listening to me, cause I run it. I'm the only one that really want it. I'm the only one that's really on it. I'm just being honest. I'm just doing everything I promise, cause I want it bad enough that I'ma make it as an artist. And I know I'm not the smartest, and I know I'm not the largest, but I promise you that I'ma be the one that worked the hardest, cause I promise you that I'm just getting started. And I promise you that my skills are getting sharper, so I'ma get charted. Can't be guarded, nah, I'm the one that get retarded. Get the party started, yeah, get the party started. Yeah, so let me get up on it, yeah. Bitch, you got me fucked up, I don't know what's up. Pour that shit in my cup, we bout to turn up. Crank this shit up so loud, sounds like we're sold out. In front of a whole crowd, we lose control now. Don't take this shit too personally, everybody got a different version of me. Everybody gotta be learning from me, everybody wanna be working with me. And I feel like there's uncertainty and urgency to find out what you wanna be. But honestly, we change our minds constantly, so stop and breathe and find out who you wanna be. So I'd be cautious, I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me, there ain't an option. So I'd be cautious, I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me now. Degree. Did you learn anything? Really worth anything? 200 grand later and we're not even working. Student loans worth more than what we're earning. Best lesson I learned is to keep on searching. Find your true passion and get to work. And better take action or you end up serving. Yeah, that's a fact. So you better clean up your act. So you better raise off the sack and tell the world they can suck on that. Don't come back, pack your bags. You take a trip and don't relax. You hit the switch and just attack. You find your niche and make some racks. Don't hold back. Everybody wake up. It's time to break up with the life you made up. It's time to trade up, live the life you want now, a life you don't doubt. I could give a fuck how, just figure it out. Wake up, man, this life is a blur. Everyone's got an opinion, so which one you prefer? Cause I'll give you one that's coming from an entrepreneur. Don't give up on your dream, it is what you deserve.
ได้หลับบ้างไหมก็มันขับต้องชั่วโมงครึ่ง
An option, so I'd be cautious. I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me, there ain't an option. So I'd be cautious, I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me now. life. You can see it in their eyes. They're changing at night underneath the dark skies. Forced to become something darker inside. You can feel the switch, feel the
อ๋อ
shift
ตรงนี้
in the
ไอ้
tide.
กระจก
They
นี้
keep
จำได้
desiring
เอ้ย
something
นี่ไง
that's
ที่
more
เดิมอีกแล้ว
inspiring. Their brains are wiring, no
สามครั้ง
thoughts
ก็
they
ที่
start
เดิม
inspiring. They're never tiring, no now they feel the fight in them. They feel the fire sweep, take over entirely. They feel it growing, it's showing the feelings. They keep overflowing, always stoking the fire. Adrenaline is overloading, hit the mat like a fighter. They never let up, never throwing, giving to their desires. No, they keep working on their focus. They feel the temperature rise, now there is no place to hide. You better dig deep inside and find anything, everything that you could ever need. Every breath that you breathe, dedicated to believe. Streets that they called home, not for the weak, left out in the cold. Watched all the sheep do what they're told. Swore they would feast one day on their bones. Going to the streets that they called home, not for the weak, left out in the cold. Watched all the sheep do what they're told. Swore they would feast one day on their bones. With the form of a beast.
เดี๋ยวไปฉี่กันทุกคนบ๊ายบายเดี๋ยวเชื่อไปฉี่กันทุกคนเจอกันไหนหน้า